So since you saw this IBM PS2 model P70 last, it's had a bit of work done to it. It's fully operational now. I've completely recapped the power supply, recapped the motherboard, the caps of concern anyway. There's still a few originals on there which are still okay. Obviously it also needed a new battery. I've serviced the floppy drive, that's 100% functional. I've got a reference disk created there. I've got an MC IDE so I can run it off CF cards for when that hard drive fails, not a case of if. It's already starting to make some rather concerning noises, but it's still working for now. I think it's actually the spindle motor bearings that are failing, because it's still reading and writing okay, but it's making some grinding noise on cold starts, and once it's been running for a while, it starts to sound okay. And I have recapped that hard drive, so it's not that. And the other thing I fit today is a Kingston 486 now. I'll take my MC IDE out so you can see what that looks like properly. The keen observer will realise that this is not ending in a P70. This is actually the standard Model 70 version, and the only difference between this and the P70 version is that it has longer pins to clear things on the main board. But there's a solution to that. If you can find them, get some new old stock PGA 132 sockets, 2 of them stacked in the original CPU socket, and it clears everything perfectly, and it's a perfect fit, and it works. It just works. The only thing you need to do is run the reference disk after it's configured and installed, so it can see the FPU. Although the FPU is working, you do get a 162 error, but it still works. I assume the 162 error is because it's detected the FPU, but we'll see. I'm going to run the reference disk now, after I've put the MC IDE back in there, and see what happens. I've left the battery disconnected because unfortunately when you fit these MC IDEs, it will not allow you to boot from the reference disk. It boots from this boot ROM every time. If I'm doing something wrong and there's a way to actually get it to still boot from the reference disk when you've got one of these, I'd be keen to know. But yeah, the only way I can get it to boot to the reference disk once I've got this thing configured and set up is to remove the freaking battery or remove the MC IDE card. And I don't want to have to do that all the time. So let's go ahead and get this reference disk loaded once this thing's together. And yes, it is very, very tight there. Like, it is only just going to close. I'm a little bit worried that my my 2 stacked sockets might be a bit too high, but I don't really have a choice because it can't be any lower. Maybe it could, but I doubt it. There's just no room there. We'll give it a try. If this stops it from closing, I'm going to have to try it with 1 socket. But I'm pretty sure that didn't give it enough clearance. Unless I lose the mechanical hard drive and just use the MC IDE, which that's going to happen one day, to be honest, anyway, because it's going to die. So that's all back together now. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it still works. Yes. That flicker is not visible to the human eye. That's the frame rate of the camera not being compatible with the refresh rate of the screen. And yes, I have added another 4 megabytes of memory. Let's see what happens with this reference disk now. I'm going to have to set the date and time, obviously. And anything else it's complaining about. Why is this now not working? That's a bit concerning. Or is it? Maybe I just need to be more patient. Yes, it is working. Heart-stopping excitement. Well, I have had the battery disconnected for 2 hours. It's an accurate assumption that I may need to have it replaced because it's not been in there. I might just pause this and restart if it gets slightly interesting. Well, I think it's just done a recovery and restarted. I actually wanted to go in there and get rid of the 162 error, because I think you need to run the reference disk after an FPU is installed. Although I'm not really an expert on these things. $163, $162. Now that's the problem with these goddamn XT IDEs. I can't get into the reference disk when that's installed. So now I'm stuck with the time not set correctly, and I've still got the 162. So I've got no choice but to remove the MC IDE card to be able to boot to that reference disk. That's really quite annoying. And yes, the 486DX is being detected. Once again, if anyone knows how to get these things to boot from the reference disk when you've got the MC IDE installed, I want to know, because I don't want to be uninstalling and installing that physically every time I want to play with my reference disk, because that's an issue. Something's going to break. These things are a bit too fragile to be doing that to on a regular basis. For now, I'm probably not going to go ahead and get that reference disk sorted out, because I have got an MC audio card on the way from Texelec, so I'm going to be going in there again anyway. So one more configuration, and then I'll back it up to that reference disk, and that should be it. I only ever have to worry about setting the date and time then. I might actually see if setting the date and time in DOS, does that actually get rid of that 163 error? I guess we'll find out. So I've set the date and time in DOS. Let's see if that gets rid of the 163 error. I'm kind of doubtful. If it does, it'll be great, because then once I've got my sound card installed and my reference disk sorted out, then I don't generally need it again, I think. No, 163, so that doesn't change it. I have to do it with the reference disk. Oh well, it's going to have to stay that way until I've got my sound card sorted out, because I don't want to pull it out again. Let's just run some DOS bench utilities. Yes, at least it stopped flickering. 486DX33. Now, of course, the memory on this system is still running at the old 20 megahertz front side bus. I don't know that there's anything you can do about that, because these things will not accept or tolerate any change of the front side bus. It just won't even start if you change the main crystal or the oscillator. The video performance on these things is utterly atrocious, and I think that's why they have such performance issues with Doom, for example. It's still kind of a slideshow, even with the DX33, and you're certainly never going to be seeing 30 frames a second with that kind of performance. Utterly atrocious performance, to say the least, but it wasn't really meant as a gaming machine back in the day. But of course, now that it has 8 megabytes of RAM and an FPU, we can see the slideshow that is Quake running on a P70. You're definitely not going to be playing Quake on this thing. we can't really play it on any 486 really. It's kind of playable on a AMD 586 133, which coincidentally you can actually fit on one of these 486 now boards, because that DX33 is actually socketed. Although it looks soldered to the board, it is a socket. The only issue then, you lose that bottom MCA slot because there's just no room. Even with the DX33 on there, the EEPROM on that MC IDE is actually touching the CPU. Ceramic on ceramic, so it's not an issue. I can't access the Molex plug on there, so I can't really use the IDE connector. Yes, I have the option of putting the MC IDE in the top 32-bit slot, and put the sound card in the lower slot. I may do that. I just wasn't impressed with how the MC IDE fit, particularly with that 3D printed bracket in that top slot. It's like sitting on an angle, it's not going in far enough. Maybe I'll have better luck with the sound card, but anyway. I thought I'd show you what I've been up to, and a 486 DX33 in the P70. It does not make it a speed demon. Yes, it can do more, but it's not exactly fast. And that's running off the CF card, by the way, not the hard drive. So I've got the CF card set up as D, and I still have my original ESDI hard drive as the C drive. Let's see what Doom runs like on here. Well, it's definitely better than the 386 DX20. It's still not exactly fast, and I suspect it is that ultra crappy video card that's holding it back. I would hope that at least Wolfenstein would run okay now, because it was also atrocious on the 386 DX20, which can only be explained by the video card, because a 386 should be able to run that fine. Even a 386 SX will run Wolfenstein fine, because it actually runs okay on a fast 286 machine. Okay, let's give Wolfenstein a go. Okay, let's see what this runs like. Now, I will have sound in this at some stage, but for now it is just PC speaker sounds. It would be nice if this damn phone would match the frame rate of the refresh rate, but it can't. But yes, Wolfenstein is definitely now playable, so that's one positive. Not that you'd really want to be playing on a monochrome orange plasma display, but it's cool that it works now. It was an absolute slideshow, again, with the 386 DX20. Actually, one thing I'm interested to know is the level 1 cache actually working on this CPU with this 486 now board? I don't know. I wonder if they've implemented it somehow, or if it's just being blocked. One way to find out, let's just run cache check. It looks like there's 8 kilobytes. 8 kilobytes. So the level 1 cache is working. Well, in that first pass, it wasn't as quick as the rest. That's a bit strange. That must just be a phenomenon with that 486 now adapter board. There's a lot of programmable logic devices on that board. If anything ever goes wrong with that board, there's nothing you can do to fix it. What the hell? Now it's not there? There's definitely something fishy going on with that level 1 cache, but yeah, it's kind of working. And I'm not aware of any actual software for this thing. If there is any drivers to actually make it work more correctly. If there are, let me know. I've got the disc off the Ardent Tool of Capitalism, but there's nothing really of interest on that. It's all kind of pointless rubbish, as in it's got benchmarks. There's nothing specifically for the actual 486 now board. There's one sys file, which is for a FPU bug apparently, and no documentation on how to use it. I'll have to research that. But anyway, at least it's kind of working. It looks like Megabyte 4 isn't being cached. That's, I would say, that's going to be a phenomenon with that 486 now board. I don't know what to say about that. I've never seen that before. That is very, very, very weird. It's only doing the first 2 sticks of memory and not the second 2 sticks. Again, if you know more than me, let me know. I don't know what the hell is going on there. But in any case, it's working, kind of. And it's still faster than it was.